Good evening. I'd like to call a meeting to order. This is the April 24th, 2013 meeting of the Lowell Conservation Commission. First item on the agenda is an enforcement order continued from the prior hearing. Ralph Tucci, 108 Tanner Street. The violation location is 131 Tanner Street, concerning dredging of soil, dumping of material which may degrade water quality, destruction of plant life within a 100-year floodplain, riverfront area, and bordering vegetated wetland. At the last meeting, we asked Swati Joseph to issue a secondary enforcement order for the secondary property. Do we know if that's been done?
Yes, there was an enforcement order issued for both. Let's see, there's one on 1 Brook Street and 9 Brook Street, which is kind of roughly behind and a little to the south of 131 Tanner. So yes, there were actually 2 enforcement orders just because there's 2 separate parcels there that Mr. Tucci also owns.
All right, were those emailed to us, or, because they're not in our packet? They were emailed?
You may not have those.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't.
I can hand out the originals. Obviously, we'll have to.
Yeah,
Let me hand them out.
we need to ratify that. I'm pretty sure we ratified the first one already. So, or did we?
It's not. It actually should be ratified tonight as well.
All right.
If you're comfortable with that.
I thought we did that at a meeting several meetings ago. We probably just haven't signed it yet.
Yeah, I think that's correct. When I spoke with Swati about it, I think she mentioned it was discussed and it was essentially approved. It just never went through the process of being signed. So I'll just read the enforcement orders before I hand them out.
All right.
Since I've only got the original copy. But the enforcement orders that went out for 9 and 1 Brook Street are for dredging of soil, dumping of material, which may degrade water quality and destruction of plant life. And the conditions were to stop all work that involves ground disturbance, install siltation of fence along stream bank, clear only the material above ground, and then attend Conservation Commission meeting, which it's my understanding Mr. Tucci is not able to make it to the evening tonight. And exact same conditions.
No. And that's 131 Tanner Street. That second property.
One was 131 Tanner. That's the first enforcement order that was issued. And then the most 2 recent is 1 Brook and 9 Brook.
So there was 2 additional?
Correct.
Okay, so you issued one for each of those of the Brook Street properties? Okay.
Instead of combining, we could combine them into a single order.
And from what I understand, Swati has been in communication with Mr. Tucci or his representatives, and they're working with her.
That's correct. Swati has met.
Use a different microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swati has been on the site and met with Mr. Tucci and representatives. She did inspect the site earlier and noted that the siltation fence has been installed. It's been installed roughly 25 feet back from the bank to provide a buffer there, and it's been installed correctly. And she's informed that he needs to keep that in there. So there has been communication that also today. Where there was an email, I know that it's a little abrupt, but it's intended to show commissioners where the siltation fence has been installed, and again, it notes that it's been 25 feet back. The other element that Swati had a conversation with Mr. Tucci relative to the enforcement order and kind of bringing it to closure, I suppose, is that she discussed planting some small shrub, a variety of shrub mix along the length of all those properties. We don't have a tally of how many that would be, but it's about 150, 200 linear feet along the Meadowbrook, and it would be generally right behind where the siltation fence is, so that over time, there'll be a natural buffer growing in there. So he's agreed to do that. We don't have any documentation as such, but I believe in the next couple of days, Swati will be in touch with Mr. Tucci to specify what are the species and can identify the number that would be planted and also when.
I note that the soil seems to be freshly disturbed on the Brook Street properties. What is that as a result of?
I believe a lot of it has to do with the cleaning of the material that was part of the original enforcement order at 131, so there was equipment to kind of clear out a lot of the stuff that was, the debris that was sitting there.
Did they go back since our last meeting
I
and
don't-
do more cleanup?
I don't believe so. No, I'm not entirely sure of that. They did relocate. There was a debris pile, kind of, I guess, southwest of these properties. I guess that would be One Brook. There was a pile that was in the 25-foot buffer that was moved outside of the 100-foot buffer behind 131, the building at 131 Tanner Street. So that was moved. Maybe that could be some of the reason that you see some disturbance on the surface of equipment and wheels.
Yeah, because I mean, this looks to be some fairly substantial grading.
My understanding is that they didn't grade anything. It was just had to do with kind of cleanup activities. They didn't really grade the site, but I can confirm that.
All right. Okay. Well, are there any questions of Aaron from the commission? All right. We need to, we have two additional, one for 1 Brook Street and one for 9 Brook Street that we need to ratify. Do I have a motion to ratify these enforcement orders? First one was issued this is, let me just read this in place. This is 9 Brook Street, and it was issued by our conservation agent, Swati Joseph. Well, I have a certified mail receipt dated April 12th of this year. I'm finding a date on this thing. April 12th. Okay, it was April 12th and mailed by certified mail on the same day. Do I have a motion to ratify?
Move to ratify the April 12th enforcement order to Ralph Tucci.
By Commissioner Varnum. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Biedron. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. And very similar, this is 1 Brook Street. Issued the same date, April 12th. April 12th, also mailed on April 12th of this year by Swati Joseph.
Move to ratify the 1 Brook Street enforcement order for Ralph Tucci.
By Commissioner Varnum.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Biedron. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. We also have the 131, and I believe we've ratified that, but for lack of having the minutes here at a prior hearing, and we have an unsigned, and this one was sent out December 14th of last year, and I know we've already been active on this one, but just procedurally, if we've already ratified it, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to call for a secondary ratification. Do I have a motion to, this is the original one for 131 Tanner Street to Ralph Tucci. It's dated December 14th, 2012 by Swati Joseph, and it was mailed by certified mail on the same day. Do I have a motion to ratify that? I'm pretty sure we've done that, but just in case.
I make a motion to ratify the enforcement order for 131 Tanner Street,
All right,
issued December 14th,
correct.
2012.
Okay, by Commissioner Lynch, do I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Bedrin. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. All right, and we can sign those at the end of the meeting. Is there any other discussion on those? Just as long as he's been working with Swathi but at some point in time, we need him or a representative.
Okay, we'll make that, we'll communicate that. I'll just, to kind of follow up on that point, ever since we've been able to actually get in touch with Mr. Tucci, he has been responsive,
Okay.
is what Swathi has indicated to me, and that he's been able to get the silt fence up fairly quickly and installed correctly, so he's working to resolve the enforcement orders, which is
Good, that's what we like. All right, now moving on to other business. We don't have any minutes. We have a submission of a landscape plan. This is concerning DEP 2060699, 259 Baldwin Street. They submitted a landscape plan for our approval per condition number 3 of the order of conditions. I know they've listed out the species that they plan to plan. If you recall, and this extends up in that disturbed area by the Black Brook between their access way in the back there by the nursing home, and it seems to extend. It seems to extend up. Are these? Aaron, do we know if they're showing some large trees, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they are.
there should be some,
Probably red maples.
yeah, the Acer cerebrum is a red maple.
Yeah.
It looks to me, as it's been described, when I had a conversation with Swathi about this project as well, that there's only one new red maple, one large tree that's proposed. Most of the other is the, kind of, there's a couple, I think 2 more decorative ornamental trees, and then more shrubs and ground cover is what's
Right.
being proposed.
I know we had discussed with them to look into their parking issue, because they park a lot of vehicles on that landscape strip on the brook side of the access road. And that's obviously is not an approved parking spot with the city or parking area with the city, and I know parking for them is very tight. I understand that dilemma, but it's just not it's not an appropriate place to be parking vehicles right on the bank of the brook.
Is this the area that they're
Yeah,
showing in
it's-
the plan? Is this
Yeah,
area?
it's, they show the big red maple at the corner, and they're showing other larger canopy trees
Mhm.
further,
It's
that would be
heading
north almost. They're showing, but those trees aren't there. I mean, there's some closer to the brook,
Yeah.
but there's cars parked there. There aren't any larger canopy trees there.
Okay.
And I recall at the meeting, we had a fairly limited discussion about that, so. And trying to either, harden that area, not pave it, but harden it, make it at least probably more appropriate, maybe a berm or something like that, to minimize the disturbance and minimize the parking along the bank of the,
A Cape Cod berm or more kind of soil?
maybe, a soil berm, something that's gonna protect in the event of a spillage or anything like that, for it just seeping right down into the brook.
Okay.
I know it's sort of, it sort of tilts back, but the cars get right up in there, especially the pickup trucks and stuff that I've seen up there. They're parked right over the edge, so.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and I'm sensitive to their issue about parking, because they don't have any out there. I don't know how that ever, it's perhaps they lost their parking along the way, or it just was grandfathered in from way back or something like that, but they need to look at something to protect the brook there, so.
Is there anything relative to the plantings themselves that we should communicate to them? Because I'm assuming at this point that.
I mean, I'd have to
That's
go
the
out and look
case.
at it again, but maybe some low shrubbery along the,
Farther north again?
yeah, along the top of the bank there. Might be appropriate. But is there any discussion on the planting plan that's been submitted?
I think these are good choices because they're all, almost all are native plants that should do well there. And
Some quite
I
attractive
like
ones,
the
too.
gravel swale because I think that will help prevent anybody from temporarily parking alongside there. Further up, I think the parking spaces are fairly well defined, but like you say, you can't prevent people from pulling in closer to the brook. So perhaps shrubbery would, I hate to see more asphalt or anything put in there, but shrubbery might be a good thing.
Okay.
The planting design looks fine, but I don't know if I recall, but did we ask them to put up a sign that said no parking? I feel like, because I remember the owners had come before us, and I don't know if it's anywhere in the file. I feel like we might have mentioned a sign.
I don't recall myself. I can look through the file here and see if there's anything in the order that
I
might.
just remember talking to them about it and just letting them know, not to park there, but for whatever reason, I just feel like we brought up a sign. Is that something that they could do?
Would have to ask them. I mean, it's a fairly
A no
low-cost
parking
thing
sign.
it's a fairly low-cost thing. The challenge that we find with no parking signs on private properties is enforcement of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that maybe using landscaping material in conjunction with that would
Right.
be a little bit more effective, but.
Okay. But otherwise, this looks good.
Commissioner Biedron? No? Okay, all right. I think all we need to do is accept this. I don't think we need to, do I have a motion to accept this for the file?
I'll motion to accept this wetland erosion control planning plan for 259 Baldwin Street.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Varnum, a motion by Commissioner Biedron. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
So I just want to confirm on next steps. I know you've accepted the landscape plan, but you're looking for additional shrubs and potentially a berm? as
Yeah,
part
I
of that?
mean, nothing over the top.
Okay.
And again, I'm very sensitive to the situation out there,
Mhm.
because there's just no place to park. I mean, they have that one little access road, and they've got a couple of spots over to the right, and
Yeah.
the worst-case scenario would be to actually make parking spots, which they probably never would get approval for anyway, but,
Right. Okay, we
But
can
it-
communicate that.
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to prevent the nose-overs,
Mm-hmm.
the ones going over the bank, and in keeping those away from the brook. Worst case is someone's e-brake goes and the vehicle ends up in the brook. So, okay. I mean, that's a fairly vital brook in the city, so I know it's an urban stream there, but still. All right. And any comments on the operational plans regarding rights-of-way management? We get these on an annual basis, so it's, if we have any particular or specific questions or regards for Aaron to go back to the DOT or to the various utilities. All right. Anything else, Aaron, that we're concerned about?
That's it
That's
for
it?
now, yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second by Commissioner Lynch,
Second.
second by Commissioner Biedron. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Good night.